Good evening and welcome to Georgia 12 Tonight. I'm Republican Congressional District candidate John Stone, running for Georgia's 12th Congressional District. Welcome to the show. Another rundown on our campaign day to day and the issues that I've talked to most people about either by phone or email or in person today. Having a very good week this week. We've spent a very good night before last down in Dublin with all of our friends there in Lawrence County. Terrific evening, terrific place. Tonight, I've been out with the Greater Columbia County Republican Women's monthly meeting. Now, for those of you around the rest of the district, Columbia County, like Effingham County, is one of our counties that are split this year. In our 12th district, we've got about half the county, which is primarily the populated half of the heavily populated path, up about halfway towards Clarksville Lake. And then in Effingham County, we have the top half of that county too, down to around Springfield. But as a result, Columbia County is divided between the 12th district, which is us, and the 10th district, which goes from there up to Athens and over to central Georgia a little ways. So tonight we had three of the congressional candidates there for the 10th district and myself there for the 12th district. So we had four congressional U.S. House candidates all in the same meeting, all in the same county with two different congressional districts. And it was quite an interesting meeting, but it was great talking to all of our Columbia County folks. As folks around in Columbia County and Richmond County know, but rest of the district maybe not, Columbia County is a very conservative, very heavily Republican county with a lot of Republican votes. It's always a great crowd to be around. And it certainly was tonight to see old friends there and so many of our supporters. But what was particularly nice tonight is our guest speaker. We had Augusta Chronicle editorial page editor Mike Ryan. Now, Mike, for those outside of the Augusta Chronicle reading area, is one of the last of the true conservative, die-hard, rock-solid conservative newspaper editors of a daily newspaper, a major daily newspaper in the U.S. Mike, you're a dinosaur. You're part of a dying breed, and unfortunately, it's a breed we need to revitalize and bring about a lot more Mike Ryans. He gave a great talk tonight on the generality of where we're going as a nation, with some interesting points, and one that I'll share. Most of you have read, and it tends to come more from the left than the right. The problem with our country is we have too many extremes. We have people on the right, we have people on the left that believe in their far right principles and their far left principles, and that's where the political divide in the country is. We need more moderates in the middle. Mike sees it very different from that. It's not the people on the left and the people on the right where the problem is that we have too many people in the middle with no principles at all. And they really don't have, particularly a younger generation, the rock solid foundation in American civics, constitution, constitutional principles, how we govern our country, the rule of law. It is just not there because they've been failed by the public education system. In many cases, they've been failed at the family level, where we generally begin to instill patriotism. A lot of folks don't have that family background. And as a result, we've got a lot of the population in the middle that goes from extremes of whatever sounds good today, they vote for it, and whatever sounds good tomorrow, they'll vote the other way. And Mike's contention was, how did we go from a nation that elected George Bush by a landslide in 2004 and then turned around and elected Barack Obama to the far left just 4 years later with what amounts to a landslide? And then 2 years after that, we elect a solid, rock-solid landslide election for a Republican conservative House after we just elected Barack Obama. And how is this? Mike's contention is we've got a lot of folks in the middle that'll just move this way or that way, whichever way it goes. And they're not really based on principle. Had a solution tonight, and it was a long-term solution, and that is we start educating our young people again on the Constitution and on good civics education in which they know how their country works and how it works for them. And that certainly was a great point tonight. The big comment I hear from around the district today on the phone, spent a lot of time today with folks down in South Georgia, and we'll be going down again next week too, is defunding Obamacare. It seems we really have that Republican Civil War going on in Washington, in which up until today, leadership had been looking at, well, they'll bring up two bills, and one will be for the House to defund Obamacare, and then we'll send that to the Senate. but we'll also send to the Senate an option of not defunding Obamacare and continuing government spending, which we all know what's going to happen. The Democrat-controlled Senate is not going to pass the bill that defunds Obamacare. They're going to reject that or ignore that and pass the bill that does fund Obamacare. And then we were somehow going to come back and say, well, we did vote to defund Obamacare, but it didn't pass the Senate. So well, no. What happened today is too many of our patriots around the country, too many of the true conservatives, of the hard rock conservatives out there like you and me, saw through it and said, no, it's not acceptable and we're not going to accept it from our member of Congress. That vote has been postponed. We don't know what's going to happen. It's a victory today. It's not a final victory, but we need to keep pushing. We've got to have new leadership and a new strategy in Washington that stands up for conservative principles and leads with aggressive, positive conservative action. If y'all elect me, that's exactly what I intend to do. We'll go up there and fight till the end of time and won't back down 1 second. And you know what? If it gets us thrown out of office the way too many political consultants like Karl Rove believe, then so be it. We get thrown out. But we get thrown out fighting for what's right, fighting for the Constitution, and fighting for conservative American principles. And that's the kind of fight we need to have. I need your support. For those of you who haven't made a donation yet, you might even be watching this webcast on our website tonight, which is johnstoneforcongress.com, www.johnstoneforcongress.com. Jump on the donations page. You can donate online right now with whatever you're comfortable with, and we could certainly use the support with the mailings that we're putting out, with the travel that we're doing around the district. We're being just as conservative with your dollars as we possibly can. We're not wasting any of our campaign money on anything we don't have to. We're putting it into voter outreach and getting around to see you and hearing what you've got to say. We need those donations now, though. That really helps with our travel, really helps with our voter outreach efforts. If you haven't done so, please encourage you to do so tonight at www.johnstoneforcongress.com and just look under the donation section. That's it for tonight. We'll be back at our usual time tomorrow night. Or wait a minute, we won't. This is Thursday night, so this is our last webcast of this week. We'll see you Monday night, and we hope you all have an absolutely fantastic weekend. We're rooting for our Georgia Southern Eagles to pick up another victory, and they look like they're going to be one of the great teams in college football for many years to come. Thank you all. Have a great and safe weekend. We'll see you Monday night at 9 o'clock. Until then, God bless Georgia, God bless America, and good night.